572-971 or Rev-Up office numbers are 572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Welcome to Meet the Minister, your inside look at government in action. Tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for Meet the Minister, a powerful 60-minute conversation with a minister from the SLP government hosted by Jerry Fenelon. Get first-hand insights into the government's policies, programs, and progress as we discuss the issues that matter to you. Stay informed, stay engaged. That's Meet the Minister with Jerry Fenelon, Fridays at 10 a.m. only on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM.
It's now time for Meet the Minister, hosted by Terence Fenelon. Mr. Fenelon, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Andre. It's nice to be back.
Nice to have you again.
Good morning to our listeners, viewers, wherever you are, in St. Lucia, in the diaspora. This morning we have a heavy eater in the studio.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
The deputy, everybody knows that now. But before I go, Andre, it's a wonderful day. We got up to know that what's the phrase? Habimas Papam, we have a pope. Yeah. So to all the Catholics, I know you're relieved. Catholic faith, all of those, yes. I also, good news, Manchester United is back in a major European final.
No, it's not major. Now it's a minor.
Major.
It's a minor.
And okay, another major one, I know I'm going to hit the minister there.
That's a minor one.
It's comforting to know that Arsenal will be finishing the season without a trophy again.
That's true. But they have trophies and they have trophies. I mean, you could buy one at Scott.
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We are back in Europe and it's a major title. So it's all good. It's all good, and I'm laughing. I'm beaming because there's just a feel good situation in the country at this time.
Yeah. And
I think the minister who is there is mainly responsible for it. He and his team, and we're going to delve in that. Let me just tell the listening public, the viewing public, we have nothing to hide here. Let me refer to our Bible, our core values, equity, respect for the rule of law, inclusiveness. And we have that's our core principles and our values: trust, accountability, honesty, transparency, integrity, discipline, effectiveness. This is the blackboard of truth, as I've always said. We have nothing to hide. And let me just make it clear. The minister he has never asked me to ask him any particular questions. Nothing is off limits. I'm not scripted. We flow. The questions will come, the discussion will go, and you'll have a chance to ask of the minister, what's on your mind. And he's here, nothing to hide. We'll do that. And just let me make it clear. Sometimes, because of the time constraint, although Andre in the past has been very happy to allow us to go over time.
Not today.
Not today. I'm saying the Bill Maher show. Over time
we actually have a program at 11.
I know. Okay, so we will open the lines. And it is not a one shot. The minister is here today. He will be here again. So if you do not get to ask all the questions, do not panic. Do not tie yourself up in knots, and saying we don't open. We will open the lines, okay? So just take it easy. It's not a one shot. We are always going to be here. The minister is always going to be here to answer the questions, take your questions, and do that to the best of his ability. So, Dr. Hiller, or should I just call you Comrade? Comrade, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you
welcome
very
to
much.
the hot seat.
Yeah.
As you said, we're not scripted. You never asked me to ask you any questions, and I know you have been under a lot of pressure. But let me see, from Hospital Road to Cambridge, just tell us a little about yourself and that journey from Hospital Road to Cambridge. Yeah, nice, interesting, inspiring journey. So just tell us a little about yourself there.
Well, I mean, I grew up at, the bottom of Mon Road into Old Cemetery, into Fuasho. That was the area that I grew up in. Of course, I grew up as many young boys growing up in that area, having aspirations to achieve as much as you can in life, but never seeing how you'd ever get there, how you'd ever reach there. And for me, I remember distinctly sitting on the block on the bridge, and just dreaming, I always wanted to go to the top universities in the world. You watch television, you read about Cambridge and Oxford and Harvard and Princeton and those top schools, and I thought, but me too. But again, never knowing how I'm going to get there. And also, too, my mother was somebody who, although she didn't have the means, she didn't have the kind of background, but she wanted her children. And today, her greatest joy is that almost all the children went to university and did masters at least. And my brother before me is an economist. My brother after me is an economist. My younger sister is an economist. We all went to university. My eldest brother, all of us did. And she just thought, look, and she used to tell us, upani no upani baka, si education kika ifez autonom, that kind of feeling. And that dream that one day we would reach there and you would achieve has always driven me. Went to K-ville, did very well at school, became a Cambridge scholar, went to Cambridge, got a distinction at Cambridge, went to London School of Economics, did my PhD, worked at McKinsey, West Indies Cricket Board, IECC, and I've been really blessed. I got involved in community activity from a very young age. I was the founding president of the student branch of the NYC. I didn't just come.
Right.
I started off, I remember Stevenson King, who is senior minister now. We formed the Rotaract Club of St. Lucia. I was 16 going on to 17 years old then. And Steve was already a senior. So I've known him that far.
What did your mom say to you? Pani no, pani baka.
In other words, she was reading Sa'afa long before a lot of
you don't have name, you don't have no baka. It's education. And it really tells a lot why even in the Labour Party we believe so much in education, because it is the tool for social mobility for us. It's not inheritance, it's not possessing land, and it's education that will make marginalized people reach a higher level. And I recall even my mother always wanted us to get out of the environment in which we're in. And when Labour Party came into power in 1979, finally we had a government we felt was more sensitive and sympathetic. And Mikey Pilgrim, she went to see him and she arranged for him to get a piece of land, and we moved to Laclery. And we end up living in Laclery by the Ferdinands at the back there. And my mom still lives there to this day.
That was you?
Yeah. So, I mean, but I would live there, but always go back on the block in Cemetery, Hospital Road, Fuasho area, because that's the
Where
area we knew.
So is your mom still alive?
My mother is still there. Yeah. My mom is still there. She's late 80s, almost 90 now. And she still lives in Laclery, whatnot. So for me, when I see young people, and I've always had this deep desire to support the youth, because let me tell you, I think I'm one of the most blessed persons in the world. Trust me. The opportunities I've gotten and the support I've gotten, it makes me determined and really, really committed and have the conviction that we must help. That's why I believe in the youth economy. That when Kenny Anthony has been in many ways, he created the conditions for a lot of us as young people to really rise. He had a lot of faith in young people and give us opportunities. So as his attaché, he gave me responsibility to set up the NSDC, the Bell Fund, to be part of setting up PRF. So a lot of those agencies, Ken Anthony saw what role they would play. And even now, if PM, the responses have been given at a higher level, but still setting up the youth economy, something I really believe in. The creative industry that I'm responsible for now, in terms of supporting young people to reach their potential. The belief in education, I had to struggle to go to university. I was the leader of the NYC, which meant I could not get a scholarship. That was just the reality. George tried to push for a couple of us. Eventually, I went to university, and the rest was history. And we believe fundamentally in creating opportunities for young solutions to go and get educated. It is why we have the first generation scholarships, why we have the UniPass, why we're pushing so much for the scholarships to Cuba. All over the world, Minister Edwards is pushing that constantly. The Prime Minister pushing it, because we know so many solutions come from families where they don't have the means, and government must be the catalyst to get them to get the education that will take them to the next level. I mean, just think about it. You grow up on a block in Fuasho, and then your son is growing up and you're wondering where my son will end up, and you get a scholarship for him to become an engineer or to become a doctor. Just think about the transformation that can have on an entire family and the future of that family, where a child is now a medical doctor, is an engineer. Or if you're a musician, but don't believe it's only the academics. You're a musician, that's your talent. And the government has created the environment where every month you can earn something. You can start recording, you can go on tour, and you can make a name for yourselves. Why the youth economy is so important. Young people that have dreams can go in there and get the support to get started. Of course, once they get started, we have to make sure they bring it to success for it to really become meaningful. But at least give them the hope that if you have a hobby, you know, whether it is that you just like to braid people hair, well, stop braiding for free and just braiding for fun. Make it your occupation. You like doing nails, make it your occupation. The youth economy is there for you. You know, your child is dreaming of going to school. First generation is there for you, you know, and we want our young people in the country to be inspired by this. And when we come to speak about jazz, I will tell you how we link all of that back to the jazz and what's happening now into the country. So in many ways, when my mother first got this opportunity to move to La Clery, our own plot of land, you could use it to mortgage it now for us to go to school and to get, you know, support. So all of us, you know, end up going to university, whatnot. We are not bad students, so I think we did well at school. My brother before me is an econometrician. I mean, as an economist who specializes in mathematical models and those things, which is not an easy subject to master. I think she's very proud of us, of our children, of where we've reached. And it has put in all of us that commitment to serve. So whenever young people come to me, I have this, you know, deep desire to always help them so they too can achieve their dreams and their aspirations. And I think the Labour Party, that's our philosophy. That's what drives me. And I tell people when they ask me, boy, how are you coping with all the pressure and thing? I say they can't break me because what motivates me and pushes me is more powerful than all.
I didn't to ask you that because I know you have been taking a beating and you still rise. So I need to ask you, what tea are you drinking?
Boy, let me tell you. That's why I said it, you know, when I wake up and I'm already planning with my team cricket carnival next year. We're planning jazz next year already. I'm so finished with jazz this year already. I'm planning. Next week we're launching Junior Carnival. We're finalizing for Emancipation Month. You know, we're looking at, I'm already down that road. So when all the talk comes, and I've learned, I think, in life, I got involved in public service as a student leader, youth leader, very early. And I developed that discipline and that, I guess, my own coping mechanisms of how to deal with pressure. And I went for West Indies cricket. And let me tell you something, nothing is more stressful than West Indies cricket. Nothing. West Indies cricket is not personal and character assassination like it's in our politics. But the pressure to deliver and to succeed is just unbelievable. And I learned how to listen and learn, at the same time don't get distracted. And I think I'm very good at compartmentalizing. I like listening to criticism. I love it. I love it because in every criticism, in the batch of criticism, there's always something to learn if you listen. So I listen and I know how to compartmentalize, how to throw out some of the noise, the distractions, and focus on what's valuable. So when I wake up in the morning, I want to work harder. I want to deliver. I'm thinking of Castries South, the feeling Castries South, the feeling Goodlands, you know, the court in Fua show. I'm thinking about the community center for Cicera. I'm thinking about the health center for Cicera. Let me tell you, when your thoughts are occupied by those positive stuff, there is no criticism that can break you. Look at tourism, what's happening in tourism, what we're doing in community tourism, what's going to happen in investment in this country. Prime Minister announced, you know, all our successes in investment. And can I tell you, the best is yet to come. And when you have to deal with that reality, let me tell you, nobody can make me believe I'm a thief. I know I'm not a thief. Nobody can make me believe I am bad by character. I know I'm not bad by character. So I wake up every morning more determined than ever to succeed and to deliver. And that's what excites me.
Wonderful.
I'm an adrenaline junkie. You know, the more work you put before me. The one thing I hate to do is to fall short. I try to be the best version of myself every day. Not that I'm better than anybody else, but better every day of myself, the best version of myself. So for example, Wednesday night, the park and ride system did not work at Jazz. That has worried me for the last 2 days. And I'm looking forward to tonight to make sure we get it right. You understand? Because we have to get it right. And that's what motivates me. So I wake up this morning, I call Thaddeus Antoine. Last night I called Moses Charles. Guys, we need to get this right.
Correct.
What's the issue? That's what motivates me. My country looking good, people writing the best about us, people are enjoying themselves, the country moving forward. So there's nothing the opposition can say.
Yes, so
they've attacked me, it didn't work. They went after my mother, it did not work. And I'm not taking them on. My brother, I'm not taking them on because every single day is a story of success.
But we have to take on a few issues.
Yeah.
And we have to dispel a few, myths, because, there's a lot of propaganda, misinformation, lies, just mischief, political mischief, and we have to come down. You have mentioned two things there. Hopefully we'll have Dr. Anthony on, because Dr. Anthony, I spoke to him on Monday, it was, his legacy, we have to discuss that, because as you correctly says, he laid the foundation for a lot of what is happening. And his contribution in the House during the budget debate was fantastic, because the phrase you used, the wisdom of the ages, it forms the present, and we have to bridge a gap and make sure that we catalog and chronicle what he has done to enable us. I mean, 2016 to 21 was an aberration, a blot on our history. We know that, but what he has done. And this morning, just before I came in, I heard an economist. He was a former maybe junior minister of finance, saying that in the opposition party, man, giving full marks to our prime minister and the policies, and as you correctly says, what he's doing for the social conscience that he has, and investing in our youth, and that is good. So let's talk now. Jazz and tourism, the numbers. We're breaking records, and we've seen what is happening in jazz, and if I look at that carefully there, I know that you are very familiar with your number 10, because we always must consult the Bible. That is what we have to hold accountable. Number 10, revitalize St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival and bring it to the people and the communities. And the impressions now and what you're seeing with the tourist arrivals and stuff. I don't know if we have all the numbers as yet, but what are we seeing now?
But I mean, let's even forget about numbers. And I remember my first speech as Minister of Tourism. I said, look, numbers are important because it's an indication of what's happening. But there's a deeper story we must always look for. Because you can have numbers, and if it means nothing to the people, then what are you really boasting about? So I don't want to come and boast about numbers. I want to speak about the qualitative transformation that's taking place. And of course, you know the history of the Jazz and Arts Festival. The last government decided it was dead. And you can look at the clips. And Chance is saying that it is dead. It makes no sense, to have this. And, we sat down and we reflected, how can it make no sense? But he was trapped in a time warp that I don't think he could even see beyond that, because one thing when you're so full of yourself and you believe you're just brighter than everybody else, and of course you have the gift of gab. You can speak well and you can say things, and you believe you can say, I'll build a bridge to the moon, and people say, wow, that man has vision, but that's just impractical and stupid. So when he said that, it was really for us a very backward step, and that's what influence what was written in the manifesto. So let's go back to it. When jazz was introduced, and from all accounts, it was introduced to bring in more numbers at a time when we had low season in St. Lucia. So it became one, to attract numbers, and two, as a marketing tool for St. Lucia. And people all over the world know about St. Lucia Jazz and Arts. But as time goes by and our product expands, that low period becomes not so much of a concern like before. We had to find a new role for the Jazz and Arts Festival. And therefore, for us, it became more than just a marketing tool. So the money we spend is not about just bringing numbers anymore. It's also a developmental tool. Our creative industry is critical for this country. Our creatives need to find the highest stage possible to express themselves. And the Jazz and Arts Festival provides that. There's no other stage in St. Lucia which is like the premium stage for our creatives. So everything in the country must build towards this level of elevation that the Jazz and Arts Festival provides. And we've put even more emphasis now on the community jazz arts festival, because you start off within your community, and we say to the communities, identify your local talent, give them an opportunity for them to showcase at the community, and look to graduate into the main stage, because the main stage is very selective, very exclusive. So our creatives need to every year look towards the Jazz and Arts Festival as the apex for their creative expressions. And that's where the arts come in. So it's not just music, it's visual arts, performing arts. And so you saw we had spoken word. If you had the spoken word, Voices of the Underground, let me tell you, that was fantastic. I think it's almost outgrown the Cultural Center already. You look at Llewellyn Xavier, in his exhibition last year. Look at the exhibition this year. Look at what we're doing in the square. So it is more than just the music. And come next year, we will say to the communities, we're not giving you a grant just for music anymore. We're going to give you a grant for music and a grant for arts. Introduce the arts component. So discover the artists in your community, discover the performers in your community, and bring them to the fore as well. We want St. Lucia during the month of May to become a hub of creativity, for the whole region to come and participate and admire it, and for our people to be at the heights of their creative expression. So yes, the numbers will still come in. Yes, the marketing value will still be there, but it's also a developmental tool in terms of our creatives. And fourthly, it's about economic empowerment of the communities as well. Because, if you understand how our economy functions, when in a community, the whole community starts to prepare for that event. The cosmetologists, the seamstresses, all the small vendors and the businesses and the retailers and everybody starting to get, into increased economic activity. It brings in more money for the community. And if each community start creating this little micro economy around the festival, it really elevates it. So we've moved beyond the original conception of the Jazz and Arts Festival. But what was even more striking this year, and we really wanted to create that vibe in the country, ownership.
That's right.
Ownership. And if you look at the tagline for the Community Tourism Agency, it speaks of ownership, opportunity, and hours. So we really say to people, own it. It's yours. So we don't tell them what to do. We advise, we give them the support, but own it. We want it to be organic. We want the people to see that as ours. And I think this year you really saw that. When you saw Miku, you saw Vieux-Fort, you saw Ancillary, you saw Soufrière, you saw Deriso, Bexor, Mionchi. You just saw the communities making a very loud statement, and people are becoming proud of it. And if that grows into the arts component now, just imagine in May we having 6 art exhibitions around the island, all the artists in Soufrière coming out. Vieux-Fort had it, Vieux-Fort had that place, free artists displaying their work in Vieux-Fort. If we can do that all over the island, if we can have next year SAT in Soufrière putting on a theatrical presentation, in Vieux-Fort we can get one in Deriso. Just think of how in the next 5 years or so, in May, what we'll have in this country. You can decide, I'm going to a play in Soufrière tonight, or I'm going to go to Vieux-Fort. I'm going to go and check that exhibition there. I'll go to Strozel, where we have our artisans in clay pot and pottery making. Let me see what they put on display. The whole country becomes a creative hub. And for us, that's the vision we have for the Jazz and Arts Festival.
That can spill into Nobel Laureate Day when we make it meaningful instead. Now, we have some, I don't want the public to say that I'm shielding you and stuff, because you're taking all questions. We have some funny, well, let me just say before I go on, the locals at Kingdom Night, oh my word.
Fantastic.
I was just having that conversation with Tony Paul downstairs. Fantastic. I mean, oh my word, the locals held their own. Yeah, they were very good, very good.
And let me tell you, we have a lot more still.
Yes.
We have a lot more still to come,
Right. So the feel good, the country is nice and stuff, but we have to maybe touch on just 2 thorny issues. Let's deal with one first. Let's deal with GPH, because apparently we have so lower pots.
Well, again, let me just tell you one thing about this. When we got into office, there was a GPH deal on the table.
Right.
I mean, this is the shamelessness of the opposition. That's why I tell you, I don't bother with someone else. Some people tell me, don't say that, fight with them every day and beat them up and whatnot. And the time will come when we will fight. Trust me. When you see later on in the year, we start fighting, we will fight, but we need to deliver a few things to St. Lucians first, and then we'll start fighting.
So you're saying the GPH started under the last administration?
Let me even tell you, the present Prime Minister signed 2 agreements, and I can make copies available to you to read on the show.
Definitely.
With Royal Caribbean in 2008, for port castries. It never started. When he was Prime Minister, between 2016 to 2021, he signed another agreement again. And I presented both of the documents in the House during the debate on, again, for the same thing. For the same thing. when he signed it, and he also signed for Viewfort.
Right.
For Viewfort. But he told them not to upgrade Viewfort. Instead, join up with Teotihuacan and put a cruise port in by El Pirata with 23 islands, or how many islands he was going to build. So when we came in now, I can tell you what was on the table. A draft GPH agreement, and the cruise lines being told that they're going to be building something near El Pirata, and they told us, they said they cannot do that. It can't work there. The currents and everything, it just cannot work. And they did not want to go into any business with DSH.
Right.
So, but they had already designed the upgrades to Viewfort. Under us, when we came, we told them to proceed to do it. They sent pilots overseas to do all the simulation, how Viewfort will be developed, whatnot. The problem they then had was the financing of it. Because as a country, we could not finance it.
Yeah.
And they said they had so many debts. So the federal government, arising out of COVID, they were not yet in a position to finance it. We then had to call in GPH and say to GPH, look, this deal, we're not very happy with it. Let's renegotiate the deal. And then we renegotiated with GPH. And we expanded it to include Soufre.
Right.
And we expanded it to include a boardwalk from the Sanssouci Bridge to the new Vendors Arcade.
All right.
And we discussed with them and a couple of other little additions for us.
Right.
So we actually said to GPH, we're not very happy with this agreement. They had it on the table.
Right.
And they tried it twice in 2008 and I think 2018.
Right.
And they actually have press releases where the same Prime Minister is saying that he's going to hand over the cruise services to Royal Caribbean for Port Castries. And I can give you the press releases
I will have
on the government website.
Yeah. And you see the thing, the scare tactics there. I think even Andrea has been caught in this. They're making it seem that GPH is making so much money and SLASPA is not. And the Prime Minister has explained that 90% of the business that SLASPA does is cargo.
Yeah.
They retain that.
Yeah.
And the 10% or so, that GPH does that. So they want to be
So
that.
it is.
Yes.
The port services used to subsidize the cruise services.
Right.
So just imagine you're running a business where this set of activities is subsidizing this other one. But this other one is important to the country because it has spillover effects, all the tours and attraction, all the taxi drivers, all the vendors. Right. So you don't want to discontinue a loss-making element. Because so the profit making is subsidizing that because that's so important for the country. So allowing GPH to take over the loss making removes from you all that loss you used to make. So you now keep all your profits from that. You understand?
And GPH has already cleared SLASPA's debt. 40 million, so that SLASPA now has fiscal space
to improve for cargo.
That's right.
And they don't have that loss making anymore.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
They don't have that loss making. And GPH is bringing in more passengers.
Right.
So there's the effect around the country is going to be increased. Now, they will argue, oh, you didn't have to do that. What you had to do was get the cruise lines to pay a higher head tax. But you were there for 5 years, you never got it done.
Yes.
And the point is, since 1988, we've never had an increase in head tax.
Right.
Every time we try to get one, we know what happened.
Yes.
We know what happened. And GPH has come in and immediately the head tax was increased.
Right.
And they've accepted it.
Right.
They've accepted it. But when we were trying to do it, and the leader of the opposition was Prime Minister for 5 years with them, and he never got it increased.
Right.
When I became minister, first thing I did was ask about increase, and everybody was like, no. But when we signed with GPH, everybody said, well, maybe we can increase it now, but it's too late already.
Right.
So they can say that from now till Kingdom Come. We will provide the evidence to show you they were doing exactly that.
Right.
They tried it on 2 occasions, and it did not work. The reality is that, like I always believe, you deliver to the people.
That's right.
So they will spread their lies and their disinformation. There'll be some that will believe them.
Yeah, obviously.
But, I mean, the important thing is when we promise the people a boardwalk, we promise them a better vendors arcade, we promise them the redevelopment of Soufre waterfront, the Fisherman's Village in Banan, they will get it.
And that is on the way. We are seeing construction.
That's on the way. That's on the way.
There's a little mathematical problem that I've thrown out, Andre. Because, I've heard the opposition talk about, they're getting $1. I remember hearing that distinctly.
Yeah.
I mean, a whole ship coming there, a whole boat, and it's $1, or something like that. But if 90%, let us say SLASPA makes $100, urban dollar, I hope my math is correct, he's my mathematics tutor. I hope I don't disappoint you.
Yeah.
90% cargo, 10%. So you have $100, Andre, right? SLASPA collects $90, right? GPH 10. The balance. So if you multiply that, use bigger figures. SLASPA is collecting a lot of money. You know, the 90% of that remains with SLASPA. As the minister said, you're not decreasing on that at all.
No, but the point is, it just in a simple simple way. If you used to collect X amount, collecting the full air tax, and now somebody comes in and they double the number of passengers, and if you at the end of the day collecting more than what you were collecting before, you're better off.
You're better off, yeah. So
the fact is, you will collect more because somebody that has the capacity to double the arrivals will make sure you will need more than before.
You collect your percentage. Yeah,
but let me tell you something. Sometimes, you try and argue with somebody that the earth is round. They want to argue with you it's flat. And they want to mathematically prove to you why the earth is flat. And they start talking about the horizon. If you look out, you'll see that. So that's the edge of the box, whatnot. You're going to spend your whole life arguing that person. Let me tell you,
Yeah, you see, the thing that I think they're trying to hang around our neck is that, we will be giving up security of our borders to a private.
But why?
When SLASPA is still handling all of that, and that has been clear. That, they're on that because I think it's a fear tactic. Making people believe
they
that
want people to be afraid.
Yes,
our role is to show to people that we're making life better for them.
That's right.
And every policy prescription we've come out with is to show people we are the serious party about making your life better. That when this country prospers, we share it with everybody. It's not one set. Let me tell you, think about how the economy functions, whatnot. There's a public space and the private space. And there's a saying in economics, they always tell you, when there are losses, it is socially owned. When there are profits, it's privately owned. You must always remember that. When there's bankruptcy and the economy collapses, they want government to take on all the responsibility. When it's booming, the private sector wants more. Now, that's fine. That's how they operate. But what we are saying as a government, we will create the enabling environment for all of you all to make profits. But give the state its due. Because the workers and the marginalized people that we care about in the Labour Party must share from the profits of this country. They must share. So when this country is doing well, everybody must share in it. It mustn't be the private space alone that share. We are making sure that the workers share.
Bread, freedom, justice.
That's what it means to us.
That's right.
And I always say in tourism too, think about it. You see the rivers, the mountains, the extraordinary beauty of St. Lucia, that belongs to all of us, The beaches, it belongs to all of us. So if this country is making billions of dollars from the common resources of this country, then everybody must share in it. As a government, we have a responsibility to make sure you, the private enterprise, you make your fair and reasonable return. We're not denying you that. We'll give you the concessions to do it. But boss,
pay a fair wage.
Make sure the people get their fair share.
It's Thomas Sankara being it's not champagne for a few.
No,
it's potable water for all.
You could have your champagne, but I want to make sure my people get.
That's right.
You could get your champagne. Yes. I'm not Majalupi Spoon. You make your profit. Our government, no government has done more for the private sector than this government, and I have no hesitation in saying that. And if you want, next time you have Philip J. Pierre there,
he's
ask
coming
him to outline. Let me tell you, our tax relief to the private sector. As a business enterprise, you would know when you have liabilities on your book, how many thousands of dollars you owe the banks and you owe other suppliers. That's on your books. When you can get that off your books, it makes your business healthier. We've been able, through the tax relief that the government has done, able to say to the private sector, you owe millions in taxes because you owe the principal amount you owe, the interest, the surcharges, whatnot. We're waiving all of that. Just pay what you owe. Now, that's millions of dollars. That makes business healthier because the balance sheet is better off. Look at the incentives we give now. The Tourism Development Act we've passed in April of last year is the most revolutionary document we've passed in terms of private sector development. The support we give. Look at the Community Tourism Agency to give small businesses, the MSME, the youth economy. Look, the youth economy is not just social. It is also private sector initiative, because we believe we want the private sector to flourish. But we have an equal responsibility to make sure that when this country is prospering, that the workers, and we also take care of the marginalized, and we try to take people out of poverty. We can't leave people in poverty. If this country is growing and it's getting better, we cannot leave people in poverty. Right. We must take them out of poverty.
So the quotation is good from Sankara. It's not just champagne for the few, but potable water for all. We must all share. And I know Andre has that bugbear. You're always saying about, what about the private sector? What about us?
No, we have to give the private sector. We have to give the private sector.
That's right.
Hear this. If you're going to spend money on the marginalized and social development, it must come from somewhere. So you have to earn it.
That's right.
So we have to support the private sector.
Right.
Let me tell you, nothing makes me feel better to know that St. Lucians are starting to own St. Lucia. Well, think about it. How could you be a proud, St. Lucia?
A damn proud St. Lucia.
And a damn proud St. Lucian at that. And then you're seeing the benefits of this country,
not
the
accruing
profit of this country is not accruing to our people. I'm not saying others must not get, but boss, my people must get.
Correct.
I grew up sitting on the block and hoping that I too will rise to the top and I'll go to the best schools. I want that for all St. Lucians. I'm not a businessman. I can give advice, business advice, but I don't have it in me to go out there to make money. I'm not like Andre and them guys that will start off their business. And that's not me. You understand? Well, but I want to support him.
That's right.
Of course, once the law allows it and it's within the regulations, I want to support him.
And Dr. Rayburn was Minister of Finance in the other administration today, was saying basically that he applauds the Prime Minister for his social conscience and his outlook. And we are
that's a Labour Party thing. Huh?
Yes,
I mean, Kenny Anthony said it in the House.
That's right.
So much of what we were doing is continuing that lineage of Labour Party philosophy of what we believe in and how we think. The important thing for us is to keep the country growing. Because in the growth of the country, there are benefits. And then we have to make sure that the benefits is not steeped or skewed for one set alone. But as much as possible, we can make sure everybody benefits.
That's right.
So by having, even this year, moving the taxable allowance up to 40,000, whatnot, again is to say we want the middle class too to enjoy the growth of this country and the benefit of this country. When we talk about universal health care, this is a major issue for us because we want all St. Lucians to at least be able to be guaranteed a minimum health care. So when we introduced the health and security levy, it was setting the stage for what is coming now. Because we have to make sure every single St. Lucian in this country, every single one, must get a certain minimum level of health care. And if you want to get more than that now, you'll probably need to get insurance. So government will make sure that there is insurance in place so you can get more. And if you want the very highest select few treatments, then what arrangements we can put in place for you to get that. But every St. Lucian have to go to bed. And if I wake up tomorrow and I need to get dialysis, I don't have to worry. If I don't have money, then I have to just languish until I die. That should not happen in the country. There's a minimum level of healthcare for everybody. So we've put in the health and security levy. We build in the physical infrastructure around the country to support it. And we'll finish St. Jude and we'll have a grand opening very soon. And then we'll put all the elements in place. And Minister Jabatis is working really hard with a team at the ministry and some external consultants. So very soon we will be able to announce the universal healthcare. Because let me tell you, we must do this. It's not necessarily the Labour Party now, but the government of St. Lucia must achieve that. Must achieve it. And we have to work towards it. And at every stage, we'll tell St. Lucians where we're going. Let me tell you, there's so many areas I can talk about. Sports. Let me tell you, we can. But the minister will come to that.
Let's take another issue.
But just quickly, on the GPH issue, Dr. Hill, just to be sure, I think you're saying that the same deal that your government has now gone into with GPH was started by the former administration. Is that what you're saying?
We got a better deal. When I came in as minister, one of my first meetings was at SLASPA. They had a draft agreement. GPH had even signed the agreement already, as far as I can recall.
The whole 40-year thing?
Well, there's not 40 years, 30.
30.
Oh, okay, 30.
Yeah. But they had an agreement on the table, Andre. They had an agreement on the table.
And the same $1 going to SLASPA?
I can find the agreement, hopefully bring it for you and let you see what's on it. I mean, you can sit down and you can have a discussion as to whether it should be 150, although I believe it's graduated over a period of time. So after a certain number of years, it increases, whatnot. And let me tell you, I didn't mind, and listen to me carefully on this one, and that's my problem with United Workers' Party, because they don't put the country first. It's a desperation to get back into power. They believe they can burn it down, and then once they're in charge, they can rebuild it, which doesn't happen. Nowhere in history, no civilization has ever survived this. If you had come and say, guys, listen, this is what we had proposed. This is what you've now proposed. Let's analyze it and show ours was better than yours. They're not doing that. There's an inherent dishonesty in the United Workers' Party. Instead, what they're saying is, pretend I was never part of this before. But this is what you all supposedly has agreed to. And you know what? You've sold the port. You've given up security of the port. Slasper is making no money. Now, what they create in the people's mind is a question of self-doubt. It's an old colonialist tactic. Make black people, colonial people, believe they don't have the capacity to achieve anything progressive. So we sold the ports, we've done this, and make people start doubting their own country and their own capacity, rather than a discourse that says maybe what they were asking is better than what y'all asked for, and maybe y'all should have not considered on that point, maybe y'all should have gone with this original agreement. Let's make it about differences in policy approach and which one is better than the other. Our people will still believe we can achieve, but maybe that one would have taken us a better route than that one. But when you destroy what you have, and when a former minister will say, Herod, that when they come into government, they vow they will stop GPH and stop the project. Now, investors all over the world are listening to that. Yeah. That this is a country now not ruled by law. Government is contiguous. Government continues regardless of which party is in power. And Philip JP always reminds us that. And as Minister of Investment, first thing he said to me, Minister, we are in government. We must respect what the government of St. Lucia has agreed to. We will go to investors, we will tell them we will not have if ABCD, can we rethink it, renegotiate it. But we're not going to destroy the reputation of the government and people of St. Lucia. Correct. No investor must be able to say that the government and people of St. Lucia, the Philip J. Pierre, is a dishonest government or a government that cannot be respected for the word that has been given by the government of St. Lucia, not UWP or Labour Party. So we started off with everybody, DSH, Carbot, GPH, all of them. We sat down and we said, here are our problems with what's before us. Can we renegotiate? Galaxy as well. We may not have time to go into Galaxy today, and bring me back to discuss Galaxy and CIP separate. Yes, because I can't say much about Galaxy because there's a court case. But if I reveal things to you of what we found and how we've had to manage it to make it work for St. Lucians, that's a story by itself. But let's put that aside. We'll come to that another time.
Because
but that's what they've done. Yeah. That's what they've done because they believe if they destroy it, burn it down, we'll take over the ashes and we rebuild.
But let me ask you a question. I mean, I was coming to CIP, but since you say you're going to come just to discuss that, because I know under the live there, people might be going crazy about CIP and over the lines. We're going over the lines. We're going over the lines in a while.
You see, Andre must give us 2 hours.
Yes. Well, no, Andre, my producer, talk to my, he's listening. Producer, I will, we need to extend the time because, the conversation we're having. $6 billion CIP that you push in your pocket.
Boss, if I had tipped $6 billion, you think I would really be going for all the stress and strain? And let me tell you, I've told them already, if I tip $6 billion, tell me where it is. Let me tell you what I would do. I'll take my lawyers with me. I'll take some of the partners from Cicero and Fuasho and with me. We go and find the money where it is. And then we'll distribute it among all the constituents of Castro South. Because if I have $6 billion, I didn't say. The only people I can think that somebody tipped $6 billion is people that are dreaming of tipping $6 billion. Think about it. Alan Chastney, Guy Joseph, and all of them that are saying that. Because evil thinks what evil does. I don't care what anybody say. How does one steal $6 billion, bro?
Or you give it away
I just give $6 billion? Seriously? How do you just give $6 billion to somebody?
Well, we have your word, listeners. I came to ask questions, but the minister has said he's going to come back and he's going to discuss CIP. on all the things that you all said about he gave away 6 billion, he gave away 6,000, 50,000 passports. For the ones CIP does not sell passports, right?
No, we don't.
Right.
But let me just say one thing. The Europe is seeing the progress the country is making, and they're seeing all what's happening, and they're trying to pinpoint what are the drivers of success. And they've targeted CIP. And in their view, if we destroy CIP, we're going to suffocate this government. And if we suffocate them, it gives us a better chance to revive and to recover.
Right.
But that will not happen because we're delivering to the people of St. Lucia. And he's gone to court. He joined up with Martinez. It fell by the wayside. They promised they would put me on case. They never did. They claim it's diplomatic immunity, such nonsense. And let me tell you, we will win this case. And he'll file another case. Trust me.
But let's reassure. I mean, we're going to come back to discuss that the CIP is robust,
very
sound.
Very.
All the accusations of corruption and he let tiffin money and his partners tiffin money, all of these things, we can put that to rest.
That's total nonsense. Yes. And in June, we'll be coming to the House with the annual report. We'll be coming with the operational report. That was the audit that was just done. And we're coming with some legislative changes. And then we will see a few things to the world.
Now, let me just tell the public, Andre, we will. I know the lines are
already coming
in. So you need your headphones, Minister.
Let me just give the numbers. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. We have a call on the WhatsApp platform.
Okay, good morning, caller. Come in. Nice to have you.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well.
Well, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, Andre. Mr. Minister, there's a few questions. When are you going to make those reports public so we can have our own judgment as to reading those reports? Also, I want to believe that you are an honest man. I want to believe that. And I want to also believe that you may be one of the unluckiest men to live in St. Lucia. The question I want to ask you is, you made us trust you in a dialysis building being constructed, or is it a cancer building? Something to that effect with Jufali. You recall that, right?
Well, first of all, if you're going to ask me a question, whoever gave you the information should give you the right information.
No,
You asked me a question. Can I answer you?
Yes,
so
please.
Do you want
answer
to ask
the question.
All your
Don't
questions?
tell me.
Hold on. Do you want to ask all your questions and let me answer? Or do you want to have a running dialogue so we answer them one by one?
Yes, answer that question, please.
Well, I mean, the host will decide how you answer.
Ask your question, and the minister will be given a chance. And let me just, for housekeeping, we don't want to go on and on because a number of people are calling. So just ask the questions and we will answer. Yes.
But I also don't want the answer to be with another question or go and ask somebody else.
No, you cannot decide. He will answer. You ask the question, he will answer. So just ask your question, sir.
Okay. Anyway,
allow the minister to answer.
So you promised that Jufali was going to build us a dialysis building. That never happened. I want to know why that didn't happen, and I also want to say, because I mentioned that you may be the most unlucky person. Mr. Minister, this thing I've been following you for a long time, and I want to believe you. And I always hear you say that you've been vindicated. Where are you being vindicated when you haven't sat and heard any of your cases in the court of law? I would love to hear what you have to say about this. And the CIP that you say put on hold, when are you going to come back to discuss the CIP? And I don't want to hear it in the House because there are too many privileges in the House, and we, the public, cannot question you when you're in the House. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, so let's take the first one.
Yes,
He says about a dialysis unit, and that's not what it was. But let me say something about this. When we were in government before 2016, the Jufali Frui's Foundation, W Foundation, agreed to finance the fifth finger at OKEU and to build a diabetic research center. And let me show you again how the Europeans just mislead people. We actually went to the House and passed a new bill funded by W Foundation Jufali to able to have clinical research in St. Lucia. The bill was passed. It's the most modern clinical research bill in the world. It was drafted by a German legal firm, and it was passed in the House. The caller can go and read Hansard, listen to all the debate that took place as to why we were passing that bill. But then we lost the elections. We lost the elections. And then Alan Chasse came in, and what they did was to virtually tell the family they don't want it anymore. You can ask, there's Dr. King. There's a whole delegation that went to Europe to have all the meetings of medical practitioners. And I can release all the emails. We've not fought that battle. We've allowed that to pass. All the designs of the facility was done. And senior medical practitioners in St. Lucia, I can give you their names. I can give you the emails because I was being copied on all the transactions that were taking place. The new government came in 2016 and they shut down that effort. Instead, they went to question the people to find out whether they had given me money rather than push the interest of the country. Right. And if that caller wants to be sincere, he can come and sit in here. I bring my laptop with all my emails and I can show it to him. But that was a lost opportunity for St. Lucia. Let me tell you something. He asked about me being vindicated. We went to court. This thing about this vehicle, let me tell you something, fellow. Yeah. If I really have to reflect on some of those battles I've had to fight, Alan Chasney, for some reason, is obsessively jealous of me. I've never had a man who's jealous of me or so obsessed with me. Yeah. Seriously, he's a real man crush. Yeah. You know, seriously. And I think he's determined, for whatever reasons, whether he believes I will be something in the future, whether he believes I'm a threat to him, but he must get at me. But every time he makes, I laugh at him. You understand? It's really consuming him now. He is unhinged right now. You know, this thing about a vehicle, the same Alan Chasney will say on the program that he agreed that I paid for my vehicle, but I gave it back as a gift and I took it back without permission. I have the clip of it. I think it must have been on HTS. He actually said it, you know.
We have that clip, yes.
You changed 2 controllers of customs because you believe, and let me tell you, he sent up Guy Mayers to...
Don't forget you have the calls, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's take another call.
The point is, you know...
We'll come back. Let's take another call.
I mean, these are chapters I've closed, by the way. I'm not going to waste energy
on that.
Alan Chasney can say, from now till kingdom come, I will stay focused on what I have to do, and then he still sees downfall at the polls.
Yeah, let's take another call.
Yes.
Good morning, caller. Come in.
Hi, good morning, Andre. Good morning, Andre. Good morning, Mr. Folano, and good morning to the minister.
Good morning.
Good morning,
my dear.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. It's not about CBI. It's not about any other thing. It is about the Christian community.
The Christian community?
Yes, okay. And it's directed at the minister. We need to have a gospel festival in St. Lucia because millions of our dollars are invested in Jazz and Arts Festival. I don't have a problem with that. However, it promotes mostly secular music. Now you find there is a sector of the population that into their gospel music, and I believe having a gospel music festival is also a good way of promoting St. Lucia and for people to come to experience our culture. So it is like you have to segment your marketing in terms that what I'm seeing, the marketing is promoting more secular stuff. Now you find people want to come out to enjoy themselves, but they want something that is for them. I have said that to the minister for over 3 years, and it is something that is really bothering me. To me, something has to be done, because the reason why I'm really pointing on this is because maybe about 20 years ago, there was something like that, and I remember going to it at Salmons Park, where the new hotel is being built, and it was just fantastic. It was just beautiful. Mr. Minister, not all of us are for rum and rhythm. Some of us want some spiritual upliftment. Now, let me bring to your attention also that I've seen comments, people saying, yes, Kingdom Night, but they're selling rum, they're doing this, they're doing that. Okay, everybody comes to Kingdom Night, but you have to target those people who need something for their soul, because I personally would go to a gospel festival. I will not attend all the jazz shows because it's really secular, and that's not about
all right. Did you go to Kingdom Night?
No, I didn't go.
But you want a gospel festival? All right.
But Kingdom Night was hello. I was at Kingdom Night. I went for the first time. It was out of this world, you know.
Totally out of this world. It's the biggest crowd
I didn't
you've
go
ever seen.
to Kingdom Night because I have my reasons, okay? And it's not about, okay, the artist y'all bring...
Sorry, caller, you can't dominate the whole show. I'm sorry.
we've heard you.
Sorry, caller.
Thank you.
Sorry.
We'll take another call. We can answer that. I'm in Kingdom Night. Minister was-
No, I think the caller is not entirely wrong.
Yeah.
Last year we introduced a community jazz festival that is just inspiration jazz. That's Hills and Valleys in Bexar. Which show you that we cater in for that segment of the market.
Right.
Since we brought back the jazz festival in its present edition, we've actually expanded the profile of Kingdom Night. They've had it before, but we've really made a determined effort. And what you saw Wednesday night, I mean, over 8,000 people was massive.
And
that's like a real...
And the locals, I must big up the locals. Oh, my word.
So the caller is not entirely wrong. There are a number of gospel shows that take place wrong. And if any entity comes up with a gospel festival, my ministry and the SLTA will support it.
Okay. We'll just take 2 more calls.
All right,
we have to wrap up.
Andre's running us out of
Yes,
we have a program at 11.
That's okay, Andrew.
Yes.
We'll take 2 more calls.
Okay.
Yes. Good morning, caller. Nice to have you. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Yes. Okay. Yes. While this lady asked for religious, well, my part is the country and western side, right? You have jazz. Yes, you have jazz once a year. You have carnival once a year.
Yeah.
What about the country and western dances, right? If the country and western dances are properly organized, right, in a proper manner, it can bring a lot of self-employment, right? Like for solutions and a lot of dance groups. As you also get a lot of tourists present at the country and western dance events, right? I want to go into detail as to what it can bring, right? It can bring more venues, it can bring more trips for million taxi buses, more DJs, right? And it can encourage more people to come to dance, right? As a form of good exercise and to keep them healthy. So I believe that you all should get involved into country and western, because you get country and western dance every weekend. Right, every weekend. So you have to energize it, right? Get involved in it, right? So if you want, you can invite me to a personal interview. I can give you some more detail. Yes.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, the caller, you noticed this year we introduced country music for the first time.
Yes.
We will do an assessment of it. One of the very clear lessons we learned is what's trending in country music in the U.S. is not what solutions. Solutions are more country and western.
Right.
We have country pop, country rock, whatnot. So we need
Gretchen
to
give us so much rock.
Yeah, she give us a lot of rock.
Okay, last call. Final call. Andrew is very straight on that. Final caller, come in. Good morning, caller. Nice to have you.
Good morning, Andre.
Good morning.
Andre, the Unesila is not...
No, you have to say good morning to our special guest.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Andre, I'm listening to this program and it's just insulting my intelligence. Unesila has to understand that not everybody is gullible and not every St. Lucian will fall for his lies and deception. To tell me, one, that the United Workers' Party was the one who started GPH, Unesila knows very well that's an absolute lie.
Yeah.
To give away our ports to a foreign company, and this is the same Unesila when he was in opposition, who was clamoring and had that mantra of family, friends, and foreigners, who have embraced foreigners more than this Labour Party government, than like Unesila. This whole CIP is a serious scandal upon scandals. Everywhere Unesila finds himself is a problem. West Indies cricket, there's a well-known documentary that was done by Michael Holden on Unesila in his stint as CEO of West Indies cricket. Jufali, a man who was given a diplomatic passport. He was not even for maritime, never attended a meeting. And the reason we found out why he was given a diplomatic passport was because his wife was taken to court and he had some legal divorce battles with his wife. So he wanted immunity, diplomatic immunity. So he was given a diplomatic passport by Unesila. When Timothy Polio questioned Ernest Seeley on a show, Newsmaker Live, and asked him, was Jufali given a diplomatic passport?
So, caller, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We'll have to cut you off. We have to end. I hope you see the wisdom in having to extend this program.
Yes, sir.
I've been saying to you from day one.
Just let me say something.
Sorry about that, caller.
Yeah.
Our apologies, sincere apologies, but we have to end.
All the CIP reports are available on the CIP website, right? And anybody who wants to know about CIP can go to the CIP website and read. I'm just getting it from my friend there from overseas that he has read all the reports.
Yeah.
They are available.
And another one will come out in June.
Table in the House. So all the questions, you will make your minister's report, maybe open for debate, etc. But they are all there. So there's nothing to scare you, to make you feel afraid. The reports are available, they are transparent and stuff. So if there's $6 billion is missing, some accountant, to be frank, will pick it up and stuff.
But,
all right?
Yeah, but let me just end quickly to say to all St. Lucians, continue to support. Tonight is going to be a massive night. Be patient.
You brought a ticket for me.
Let me tell you. Be patient. Be patient. And I wish we had time to talk about the arrangements and some of the challenges. So tell all St. Lucians to be patient. Follow the rules, the directions, and it will work out well. When we lose faith in the system, when we try and do our own thing, everything breaks down. Continue to have a safe and enjoyable jazz festival. We'll then go into Carnival and Emancipation and then Creole Heritage, and then the political fights will start into the new year. But we'll answer all those questions. To all the UWPs out there, we're still St. Lucians.
That's right.
You should really not follow somebody who seems intent on just destroying this country that we all belong to. Let's disagree, let's argue, but the character assassination and whatnot, I can accuse Alan Chastain of a lot of things that they're accusing me about, and trust me, I have documents too. But that's not what it's about. We still have to keep our country afloat,
we have to be
keep
positive.
our country rising,
and
be positive. I still love a lot, all my people, and whatnot, and let's just move forward as a country.
Well, the minister has promised to be back. Andre,
yes,
he will be back.
Andre will have me,
and hopefully, Andre, yes, we may increase the time to another 15 minutes or so. But it's my pleasure, and thanks. Those if you're in Radio Land and TV Land and Facebook Land, wherever you are, it was nice being in your living rooms, in your vehicles, and wherever you're listening to. So see you again next week, Friday.
Thank you, Mr. Fenelon, and thank you, Dr. Hiller. Thank you very much. Don't leave it. You were listening to Meet the Minister, heard on Rev-Up Slu every Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So join us next week, same time, same station, Rev-Up 97.1 FM for another Meet the Minister. Now stand by for our Mother's Day special that's coming up.